Today, I need to ask you something difficult, something that might feel counterintuitive. I need to ask you with all sincerity and deep respect for your intentions. Please stop thanking me and veterans like me for our service. It's a familiar moment for many of us veterans. We see you approach, maybe in the grocery store, maybe at the park. There's a slight pause, a look in your eyes that says you recognize something. Maybe it's the haircut, the way we carry ourselves, or perhaps a unit patch on a cap. And then the words come almost predictably. Thank you for your service. As a disabled veteran myself, I understand the intent behind those words. You want to acknowledge our sacrifice, our patriotism, and our willingness to step up. We recognize that good intention, that genuine desire to express gratitude. So I know asking you to stop thanking vets for their service sounds jarring, maybe even ungrateful. You think you're offering support, showing you care about this country and those who served it. But here's the complex reality you might not see. For far too many of us, those five simple words don't land as kindness. At a minimum, they're uncomfortable or embarrassing. But often those words land like an unexpected trigger, like a sudden weight. Why? Because what you might not realize is that every time you say it, you could be unintentionally yanking us back to the moments we fight so desperately to leave behind. You might be reminding us of the brother or sister in arms we lost in combat, whose laugh we can still hear, whose absence is a wound that never fully closes. That survivor's guilt is real and haunting. You might be reminding us of the disability we now live with every single day. Picture waking up every morning knowing that just getting out of bed will be an exercise in managing agony from injury sustained years ago, a constant, grinding reminder. Think about the veteran whose hands shake not from the cold, but from nerve damage or anxiety. Or imagine hearing a car backfire and instantly being plunged back into a war zone, heart pounding, scanning for threats, drenched in sweat, even years later, standing in a peaceful suburban street. That's the reality for some. And perhaps most painfully, you might be reminding some veterans of the deepest betrayals, the horror of military sexual trauma, an assault suffered not from a foreign enemy, but from a comrade, someone who had their six and that they trusted with their very life. For those veterans, every reminder of service can dredge up that profound breach of trust, making healing incredibly, unimaginably difficult. We wake up every morning reminded by the pain in our bodies, by the angst in our minds, by the depression, the anxiety, the hypervigilance that steals our peace and isolates us. We live our days trying to suppress those feelings just to get by. At night, we're thankful we made it through the day. We don't need another reminder, however well intentioned. We're just trying to buy milk or simply exist peacefully for a few hours. And let's be honest about who veterans are. We're not a monolith. We aren't all the square-jawed, steely-eyed heroes storming beaches like in the movies. That image ignores the vast majority of military roles. Remember, for every service member on the front line, there's a cook working grueling hours, a mechanic keeping vehicles running, a medic patching up wounds under pressure, a supply clerk managing critical logistics, an intelligence analyst piecing together vital information, a personnel administrator handling endless paperwork. All essential, all serving, all facing unique stressors, and all potentially incurring injuries, both visible and invisible. Furthermore, we're not all heroes. In fact, rarely do we want to be called a hero. The reasons people join the military are as diverse as the people themselves. Yes, some are driven by deep patriotism, but many others enlisted for steady pay, for health care for their families, to escape poverty or a dead-end town. to learn a valuable trade, to find structure and discipline, to follow a family tradition. Or at 18 or 19, it just seemed like the only viable path forward. We did our duty, yes. We took the risks, yes. But calling us all heroes or thanking us for a noble patriotism that some of us didn't necessarily feel when we signed up, well, it often feels hollow, simplistic, and disconnected from our lived experiences. We're complex human beings first. We just happened to serve. We did our job, and we were lucky enough to come home from it. So, what do veterans really want? They want action, tangible, impactful action. Consider this: it took a comedian, Jon Stewart, relentlessly shaming Congress to finally get meaningful movement on the PACT Act, addressing the suffering of countless veterans poisoned by toxic exposures worldwide. Where was the public outcry before that spotlight? Also, often veterans face systemic barriers to getting the VA benefits that they were promised when they enlisted, earned through their service, and now deserve. Where were the calls flooding congressional offices when your neighbor, your cousin, your friend couldn't get a timely appointment at the VA for critical health care, or spent years fighting bureaucratic red tape to get a disability claim approved for an injury clearly sustained during service? That fight feels like a second battle, often fought alone. And think about the difficulty many veterans face simply translating valuable military skills into civilian terms for a job application, leading to unemployment or underemployment, despite incredible experience, discipline, and leadership potential. And most veterans serve honorably, even if the political winds are against them. Consider the LGBTQ plus veterans, racial minorities, and other minority communities, all who swore the same oath, wore the same uniform, and faced the same dangers, only to now face prejudice, have their identities attacked, or their service questioned by cynical political rhetoric. Are you thanking them with your words while staying silent, or even worse, complicit, as they face real harm from a country that they defended? Real support means challenging that hypocrisy. Move beyond the easy platitudes. Don't offer us empty words that might make you feel good for a moment, but often leave us feeling worse or misunderstood, isolated, or re traumatized. We don't need your feel good gestures nearly as much as we need your active partnership. If you truly want to show your appreciation, educate yourself. Go beyond the headlines. Learn about the real complex issues facing veterans today, like the suicide epidemic, VA wait times, the claims backlogs, homelessness, and disabilities preventing veterans from participating normally in the workforce. Ask and listen. Instead of assuming, if you know a veteran, ask them what support they find meaningful. Listen without judgment. Ask them how you can help. Advocate loudly. Call your senators and representatives regularly. Demand that they fully fund veterans programs. Demand accountability for the VA. Demand they honor the promises the government made. Take concrete action. Volunteer time at a local veterans center or a shelter. Mentor a veteran transitioning to civilian employment. Support organizations providing essential services such as mental health, legal aid for appeals, or housing assistance. If you own a business, make a conscientious effort to understand military experiences and hire veterans. Share reliable information within your own circles. Help dismantle the harmful stereotypes. This isn't just about veterans. It's about the kind of community, the kind of country we aspire to be, one that genuinely supports its members, especially those who have borne the unique burdens of service to our nation and its people. It's about a shared responsibility. Vets live with the reminders of our service every single day in our bodies and our minds. We're not asking for pity. We're asking for respect, fairness, and the tangible support that we were promised and earned. Turn your gratitude from fleeting words into sustained, meaningful action. Show us you appreciate our sacrifice not with a phrase, but with your voice, your vote, your time, and your unwavering advocacy. That is the support veterans need. That is the thank you that truly resonates. That is how you truly thank us for our service. But please, don't thank me for mine. Hey, vets, if you feel the same way I do about this and it hits home, like and share this right now with your family, your friends, your colleagues, and anyone else that you think needs to hear this message. And thanks. Hey, everyone, thanks for listening. As a quick reminder, yes, I am a lawyer, but I'm not your lawyer unless we already agreed to work together. While the things we talk about on this podcast may be legal in nature, it is not legal advice. If you need a lawyer, you should reach out to a qualified licensed attorney in your area. This podcast and all of its content are owned by BSCC Media, LLC. Thanks for listening.